Can you read what it says, that first bullet?
14x, not 14%, 14x increase in clinician capacity.
Okay, so every therapist is going to freak out.
I knew we're on the same, we all agree.
Where do you want to start first? Do you want to go with sword or Botox? Which one should we talk about?
Oh, I forgot about the Botox. Yeah.
Botox Car, New York City.
Botox.
Yeah.
See, this is something you would see driving down the streets of Manhattan. You found this on Instagram, but it is of a shot of a Porsche, looks like a Porsche, a pink Porsche with, hand painted, need money for Botox on the side. What's the story here? What's going on?
The story on Instagram was just that, where the account wrote sad, like
Sad.
meaning, that's the world we live in, folks. That's the sad part, that this is something on a car. My immediate response is it catches my eye. It almost looks like it was spray painted, and that's, it's dripping down. I don't know, like, there's pros and cons of the small company name, like their Instagram or TikTok handle or whatever, like at Get Plump, Botox in your lips and your lips plump up or whatever. And I'm not sure how much it makes sense to have something that get attention that's not your brand name. Like that's the messaging, and to catch your eye. And then it's kind of like, oh, by the way, like, this is us, like, this is our clinic or practice or whatever, versus the other way around. It makes sense. This is something I think you would see, like you said, in New York City, definitely Miami, potentially elsewhere. But I wanted to just send it to you guys because obviously there's some connection with like healthcare and health and wellness, and someone else is sharing it. And we always like to kind of share and talk about something that's remarkable. I'm not saying this is remarkable, but I'm saying this is, we're remarking on it. So it's worthy enough for remarking.
Yeah, I think by that definition, and before we talked about it, I think it's remarkable that they're going for remarkability, right? So if it was just a corporate logo, you'd look at this and be like, okay, cool. No intrigue, right? Someone bought a Porsche. Cool story, bro. Tell it again. No one would talk about it. It draws you in, and then the company logo is actually on there twice. It's in the front fender and the back fender, just their handle. So I think for the right people, the intrigue might be enough to go, what is the deal here, right? So what is it? Get Plump? Yeah, Get Plump.
Yep.
So I think that for the right people in the right location, I don't think this would play well in Ohio. I think enough people would just look at it and go, and there's not enough eyeballs on it, right? You drive that Porsche 5 blocks in New York and you're going to get 10,000 eyeballs. You're going to need to drive for 10,000 hours to get the same result in Idaho.
But by the way, many owners do this type of stuff just so that they can use this as a write-off. You'd have to feed your account. I don't know how much you can write off of this, 50% or whatever of the total car payments or the total car. But people do this all the time. Andy Zapata, who's a therapist and owns Physical Therapy Now, he's done the same thing with like Lamborghinis, and he wraps them with his clinic logo, and then his magnetic signs or whatever. Then he can take the magnetic signs off, and then he puts it on a website. What's the website? You can like rent other people's cars. I forget the name of the website.
Oh,
so he rents it out. Yeah, I think that's it. So, I mean, I've kind of considered historically, like, getting like a crazy, like a Cybertruck or something with concierge pain relief on it, or something like that for the tax write-offs.
Well, let's talk about that for a second. So here's the thing. The reason I'm doing their Instagram channel along with what you're saying is I think this works for the right person, right? This is the person who's saying, I want to be noticed for these things. I am aiming for aesthetic, because I'm looking at their Instagram saying, what are they trying to show here? This is a real life representation. It looks as if need money for Botox would grab my attention. They would say, like, yeah, that could be me. Like, Tony, what are you thinking?
So real quick, there was a pest control company years ago that had Volkswagen Beetles, and they put like eyelashes over the headlights, and they put like mouse ears, and they did all these things very similar. Definitely catches your eye. I can tell you the first thing that stands out to me on that page is that guy getting Botox injections, Yeah, it's going to repel the audience that's never going to be a client. It's going to attract the audience that is. It's going to fit a narrative and a culture. So there's going to be people that don't want you to know they have Botox. And then there's going to be people that embrace it and they love it. And this is all part of the culture of, let's get a bunch of women together. Let's get this dude together. Let's have some wine. Let's shoot our face up. And so and this is where CrossFit does really great. This is where Pilates and yoga and bar and all of these things, like, this is the antithesis of the physical therapy clinic and website that says we treat everything and we treat everybody. And, it's completely vanilla. Like, they've completely embraced who is their culture and their ideal client. I love it. I think it's awesome. I told you guys, and I don't know if they have any of the videos, but I'm sure people watching, I was blown away when I saw videos of women in the Botox clinic talking about how many units of Botox they had gotten. I don't know if this was like lifetime units or how many they got that day. But when I look at them, I'm sorry, like it does not look like an appealing aesthetic. But again, that's part of the culture. People who get tattoos want to see other people who have tattoos. Like, that's part of, and to some, it is not an appealing look. To others, it is. It doesn't matter. It's just that's what we're doing.
In my opinion, this is why sales fails, because salespeople want to talk about sales, but the people who buy stuff want to talk about the stuff.
Right.
Sales processes are only exciting if you're a salesperson. So I went to their website, getplump.com, and it's memberships, which is a smart thing. They've got
recurring membership. Makes sense.
Lip filler.
Just that name, Get Plump, like Get Swole. Like, there are so many of those words that feed into the cultural narrative for their demographic.
Yeah.
Talking about memberships, someone reached out with a private message to me saying, could we talk about memberships? Could we talk about how PTs could utilize memberships to build the foundation of their business? You use examples like this. Like, I don't know, but I imagine Botox is something you do consistently. If you don't, you see the decline. Jimmy?
I mean, this model exists. There was actually just a Facebook post where people were losing their minds in a good way, but also they weren't seeing the forest for the trees about direct primary care. They said, my primary care doctor is now going with $100 a month membership fee. This is insane. It's going to ruin the healthcare system. And then people came in, they're like, this only works in primary care. You wouldn't pay your you wouldn't pay an oncologist $100 a month unless you needed that specialist. So look at other models. I like playing around with and doing what Tony does, which is play around with other models outside of healthcare, like see where it fits, which is like, do you guys have AAA? You pay it and you hope not to use it, right? You pay it and you hope not to use it. If Dave were to really be smart and do the math over his lifetime of AAA, he should put that money in the bank or invest it, take the money, and then if he ever has a flat. But what you're paying for is security on the road in the middle of nowhere in the dark, at 3 a.m. There are other models that do this. So like for me, like now we've gone from like attention to subscription. That's where I think this model makes sense. How many people do they need to sign up to make the Porsche with the paint job on the side make sense in New York City? By the way, they're in New York City, New Jersey, and Miami. It makes sense where they are and what they're doing.
Well, we had a really great episode maybe a year or so ago about physical therapy memberships.
That was our only one. We've only had one, so I know which one you're talking about.
Yeah. So we covered it pretty well. If you want to share that link, Tony, to whoever messaged you. But I think it's just so hard for therapists to get out of the normal, trading, like time for dollars, like dollar amount for visit, or, you go from insurance where you're billing insurance to you're charging a self-pay rate. And then the monthly membership, I think it's mostly just like a mental thing for therapists. Like if you're having any block there, because I've spoken with other personal trainers in New York City, and when the personal trainer onboards a new client, they go through all the questions and they do like kind of like an intake type of thing and whatever the client's goals are. And then what the personal trainers do is that they say, okay, like depending on your budget and your time and your schedule and your goals and all that, they make a plan. So the plan might be 2 workouts a week, maybe it's 3 workouts a week, whatever. And that particular client gets that slot on the personal trainer's calendar. So it could be Tuesday and Thursday at 8 a.m. It could be Monday, Wednesday, Friday at 6:30 p.m. And they're automatically charging that client's card every single month. And if that client cancels the personal trainer on Monday at 6:30 p.m., The personal trainer doesn't have that client in that window. So the client loses the slot, and it's just a monthly recurring membership, probably month to month. Maybe you get a discount if you pay for, or you lock into a contract for 6 months or 12 months or whatever. I just think like outside of content like ours and a small batch of other content out there, like there's just not enough folks testing it and doing it because we're so ingrained in like the visit for visit,
Yeah, there's an entire industrial complex built around not doing that. And this is the side quest. But yeah, like at what point would you go to a trainer and not expect that? When I was in pediatrics, I didn't understand this going in, but schools let out at 3:00. The 3:30 p.m. slot was bananas. Parents would hold that slot forever because they knew if they lost it, they'd have to take off work or whatever it was. Like time and access was the thing that we were actually selling. Like, I'm not going to say the parents didn't care who the therapist was, but the time was more important at that clinic. I'm not losing that spot at that clinic because it took me so many years to get it. I talked about this, I think, or maybe I just did in my head. I talk a lot in my head about that mug club idea. You've been to a bar, usually around colleges, where there's 99 mugs on the wall with each have a number, and you pay into the mug club. And now when you walk in, you're number 59. You say, Jimmy 59. They go to the list. Got it. They take your mug down. You drink. I'm standing there holding the mug. And now beers are $1 for me, where they're $3.50 for everybody else. But I paid $300 to be in the mug club. So I got to drink enough to make the math. That this is some smart stuff. I was in a bowling alley the other day with some kids, and you turn money into a card and a card into the tickets. I'm trying to explain math to a child. We just spent $50 for him to play the claw game 17 times to win 2 Squishmallows. I'm like, we could have bought 7 Squishmallows. But that wasn't the thing. The thing was the fun and the excitement and maybe winning and maybe losing the Squishmallows, and now I win. We are big dumb animals. And doing something like this, I think, is everything I'm saying here is proving why it's a good idea, because you want to buy the feeling and the experience as much as you want to buy the outcome.
So I want to
sell outcomes.
I want to take the Botox into Dave's video, but before I want to talk about still the membership. There's a gazillion different ways to do membership. And I think we get stuck in the idea, and there's a therapist, I'm not going to mention his name. I'm pretty sure he does $1,000 a month membership, $12,000 a year. And it's like one session a week. And so I think most of us think, oh, I don't want to do that. I don't want to commit to that. I don't want to be, most therapists don't want lifetime patients. That's the bottom line. They want to see them. They want to treat them. They want to discharge them. And be done. That is not a business model, but that's what most therapists generally want. Some do want lifetime relationships, but we can do memberships for visits. We could do memberships for communication. Like you look at Jared, I think it's Jared Williams, the plumber. He has a plumber membership where he says, look, $49 a month, you get priority scheduling, you get discounts on regular maintenance. You could have memberships for updating programming and home exercises. You can have memberships to be part of a community, a Facebook group. There are so many different ways that you can make a membership work. You just have to know what is it that you want to incentivize. So we do $100 a month. It's sold as you can come every single day, and 1 or 2 actually come every single day. The vast majority come twice a week because that's what they want to do. That's what they're used to. And even though it's $100 a month, it's not direct one-on-one care. Dale and Don and all my social media guys that you see, they're what we call non-covered wellness or non-covered maintenance. But you know what? To me, the value is I get you in here. You improve the culture of the clinic. You bring life into the clinic. And if one of my docs goes on vacation and my referrals go down, I've got a bank of people that I could reactivate to do therapy again because they probably are ready for an update to their program, which would be a covered service. So I always saw it, and this has been 25 years. I've always saw that as we'll make a little bit of money on the monthly membership, but where the real value comes in is we never have, an open spot because I can reactivate them as a therapy patient. We improve the culture of the clinic. They're out in the community saying how much fun it is, and you have to go to therapy and you have to go see Tony or Jeremy or whoever. So my membership is to incentivize that kind of culture.
You have to understand what you're selling. And when you're selling a PT visit, you can charge $60. If you're selling something else, the funny thing is when we talked about this jokingly, when we talked about like just hospital aesthetic beige wallpaper, like, you know, beige wall paint, if that's what you have, that's all you can sell. I'm sorry. Look at a Rehab to Perform. Look at some of these other clinics. Look at the prehab guys have, I think, 2 locations out in California now. There's no beige there. It's not an accident. And by the way, breaking the math down, I'm a mathematician. You guys know this. $12,000 a year sounds insane. Once a week in priority scheduling and everything you want to stay, $230 a session. Dave's saying you're too low. He's already thinking, too low. Sorry, needs to be higher.
It makes a ton of sense, but let's just put money aside, regardless of if there was insurance paying for it or if someone's paying self-pay, and even regardless of the dollar amount. We've talked about this a little bit, maybe a lot historically, all three of us, but for what we know, what we do, right? Tony with the triaging or me with the triaging or my therapist and knowing what to do when and when to push someone and when to pull back. And Tony's got a ton of videos out there where it's just like fairly straightforward tips and advice. It could be about footwear. It could be about pillows. It could be about sleeping position, sleep, nutrition, diet. Like we have so much knowledge, right? So if I think this membership subscription idea, now that we're double clicking on it, we're touching on it again, which is fine. Presenting it to someone, like I think the challenge is when to start it, and then eventually it makes more sense to have the recurring. So like every first of the month or every whatever 15th of the month, whatever. It's like first of the month, and like boom, like all this money just hits your bank account. That is the wonderful thing. Then you could take that and obviously market to get more patients, more clients. You could do more marketing to get in front of new patients or even new therapists with hiring and all that. So it makes a ton of sense for the practice. The actual model of presenting it to someone, regardless of insurance and self-pay or dollar amount or whatever, makes a ton of sense for me because we have so much information, and it could be like, okay, we start someone, I'm treating Jimmy McKay. He's got back pain and it's like episodic, right? So it's an acute flare up and we got to get him back to his podcasting, and he's running around the world with Athelis. So we got to get him going. We got to get him moving. So we do an episodic normal plan of care for physical therapy, but he started because he saw us on Instagram or whatever, the client started from day one in this membership, but it starts as a normal plan of care, episodic, hands-on, all the normal stuff that physical therapists do. But then he's traveling, right? So he's going to different states and all that. And we can keep in touch. We could write him a remote program. We could say, do this, do that, how to go in, touch base. Jimmy can reply to us whenever he needs, or we stay away if he's super busy or whatever. But over time, like we've already established his goals, right? So you take someone from the episodic plan of care and just seamlessly transition to like, hey, like you said, you want to be, you know, like a top executive with Athelis or whatever. Like we're going to help you get there. You can't get there unless you have great health and wellness. So the episodic plan of care goes seamlessly right into the wellness visits, whatever the allotment that you selected, 1 visit a week or whatever it is. And some of those might roll over because you're traveling. So maybe they roll over to the end of the month or the end of the quarter, and so you don't lose them right away or whatever. But it's basically the same dollar amount per interaction, but it's different. Like sometimes it's episodic, sometimes it's acute treatment. So we're actually treating it. And then other times it's like, we're giving them advice. We're stretching them out. We're doing, you know, soft tissue work if they want it. If Tony's the patient, he doesn't want it. Like whatever they want, you could do that because the model allows so much flexibility. And I have other patients like this that have invested a ton of money in their health and wellness. They're not necessarily multimillionaires, but it's so easy. And we're still doing, you know, fee for visits. So I'm not going to act like we're doing the membership or the subscription or anything like that. But I have the patients and clients that easily could be in this. And as long as you make it work with like the example Tony said of like other therapists doing it that are doing $1,000 a month, and you get 1 visit per week. And then if you're away and traveling, like maybe you lose it or whatever, or it rolls over. it really just depends on the clientele. And it's so much easier when the clientele is someone who always has more to achieve. They're looking to get out of the back pain, but now they're looking to go vacation with their family. They're looking to go to South Carolina, like Tony did. They're looking to go to the lake with the whole family. They want to be pain free. Then they come back and maybe they got out of exercise because the summer was busy or whatever. So this subscription, it also can keep that customer, that client, longer. That's probably another reason why the Botox company does this type of thing. They can retain that client instead of like the client doing a little bit of Botox at one practice and like, I don't like how I look in the mirror. Let me try this other Botox place or whatever. So I don't know if the membership actually retains people. Obviously, it has to be valuable overall. What do you guys think?
I think you look at the mindset of how you're presenting it. So again, we look at what other examples are out there. Let's take a college education, right? I pay by the semester, I guess, by the year, some one of those two. But I know that I'm making a commitment. I know that I'm making a long-term commitment. I also know that if I quit, if I drop out, I lose the money, right? Like this is my choice. But going into that, I am making a commitment both to myself and let's say to the university that I am going to go through this and finish this. And there's something at the other end. I think when you're focused on the right client with the right mindset of understanding this isn't an overnight thing. This isn't a quick fix. This is something that's going to take a lifetime commitment. Let's go 1 year at a time, or let's go 1 month at a time. But the reality is, I think, which I generally do, I think it's better. Let's just write the check. Let's just pay for the whole thing. It creates buy-in on your part, Mr. Client. It allows, us to get that out of the way so it's not hanging over our head every day. And it kind of proves to yourself and to me, hey, I am ready to commit to this. I know there's going to be bumps in the road. I know there's going to be frustration. Like anybody who's going to do this understands their own psychology. I understand that if I just pay by the session, I'm going to quit. I'm going to give up. I'm going to go find something else. I need something that holds me accountable. And Dave and I have talked about this. The accountability is probably the greatest value of all of it. Doesn't matter what you do, just do it. Do something. And so I'll just finish with this on this thought. Yesterday, great example. I had a patient. This patient had an acute sciatica flare-up. This patient had been referred, had gotten injections, had gotten imaging, had gone through all of the medical interventions. I was the last resort. And I looked at him and I said, look, you've had this before. You've been through it. You know it always resolves. There's nothing that I could possibly do. TENS unit, he was asking about a TENS unit. TENS unit is not going to make a difference. This is not going to make a difference. Taping's not going to make a difference. Dry needling's not going to make a difference. We eliminated several possible factors. I really do believe it's an SI joint issue. You don't need it manipulated. You don't need leg pulls. You don't need muscle energy. None of that stuff matters. Give it time. Find something that will keep you moving. Relax a little bit. And in 3 months, it's going to be gone. It could be 6 months. I don't know. But bottom line is you have a $35 copay. I'm happy for you to come in here. I will work out with you. I will do balance coordination. We'll do stuff you can't do on your own right now. But if the $35 is too much, just wait it out. It'll go away. And he chose to wait it out. He made the conscious decision that the $35 was more than he wanted to spend on something that I can't guarantee I'm going to make it better in 2 weeks, right? Yeah. And that was totally fine. Like I have zero problem with that. I prefer that to me feeling the pressure of somebody else struggling to pay $35 for something that it's not going to make a difference. Now, there are clinicians out there, and we know them all, that have these fancy techniques and have this deeper knowledge than I'll ever have. And they will maybe be the person that fixes this individual. I don't know. They don't live in my neighborhood. I can't refer this guy to them. I know that I can't deliver the outcome he wants. And I know that he would rather save the $35. And I know that he's going to be good in 6 months, So that was the end of the relationship. But it was good interaction between the two of us, and I felt good about what I was able to deliver.
Yeah. Understand what you're selling. Be able to present it in a clear and concise way. Do that. Shut up and let them make a decision. If the decision is no, move on. This is maybe why, maybe we're a few steps behind. This is why Get Plump is buying a Porsche and driving it around Manhattan with Get Money for Botox. They want people who are a hard no to hard no them, and they're literally just driving on. They're just driving up Madison Avenue going on to the next one, right? We have the Peace Corps gene, and we want to help everybody, and we're going to sit there and hold their hands, right? And I say this because I am one. We're going to hold their hands, but you're not going to make someone make a decision, well, ever, in my opinion, unless you force them, and that's not commitment. That's acquiescing to your force. So make sure you understand what you're selling, do it clearly, do it often. I think that's also important. And then move on. Move on.
All right, let's go to Dave's video, because before we do the sword, let's go to Dave's video. Do you have that available?
Is this the recruitment video?
No, the one.
Oh, day in the life.
I'll find that. Yeah, talk about it. I'll find it.
Okay, so Dave shared an awesome video that is in line with the whole conversation we just had. I think the most exciting things about Dave's video is it gives prospective clients a chance to see what clients that Dave is already seeing, what they're like, who they are, what kind of, life they're living, because somebody's going to see that. They're going to see the view. They're going to see the apartment. They'll be like, hey, that's just like me. So it lets them connect. Dave was asking for some feedback. The captions are great. You can let it keep playing the captions are great. The voice in the background is fine. The one thing I would probably say, and I don't even know, this is me reaching for something, is this a video trying to attract other therapists to come work for you because this looks like an amazing job? Or is this a video trying to let prospective patients know, hey, I treat people who live like this. I can treat you also, or my team can treat you. And it could be both. It could just be a video that's out there. The other thing I would say is we just need 1,000 more, like literally 1,000 more.
That's it.
Yeah, that's it. It was a great video. It was really good.
My critiques would be very, very, very small. It'd be window dressing, which is number one, where's Dave? Like, show me Dave. This is a reason people do these point of view. It's typically point of view, but it's pointed at me, right? That's the ironic part.
Well, that this is, I'm not trying to treat patients, right? So I'm not trying to be all in the videos, there's pros and cons to it. I could be, what was the Ringling Brothers? Oh my gosh. The guy from the circus years ago. P.T. Barnum.
Yeah.
I could be the P.T. Barnum, but then every town wanted P.T. Barnum to come there. Like I don't want to be.
Listen, Dave.
There's pros and cons. I can be in front of the video, but then some people are like, Dave, I want this guy.
Do you think the Geico Gecko is answering calls?
No, it's different. It's different.
I don't know. Like if I want to see what a concierge PT looks like, we did this with Fox all the time. It's one thing to say that you can build your own schedule. And when we were trying to recruit in New York City, which was actually kind of hard, we showed people like, I'm going to my first patient in the subway. Here I am. Walk with me. But there's a reason these point of view videos work, in my opinion, so well, is they put you in the point of view. There was a guy a long time ago. His name was Robin Leach, and he let you into the lifestyles of the rich and famous, and he walked you into the houses. Right? You wanted to be those people. So I think Tony's question here is a good one. You can have both, which is,
I'm going to tell you,
I would say, are you looking for clinicians or are you looking for patients? You can do, I would say if you're looking for patients, show me the patient who lives there. Show me patients. If you're looking for clinicians, show me the clinician, even if it's Dave. Even if a patient is like, I want Dave, it's like, I can't have him. Why? He's $1,000. This other guy's $500. Like, if that's the problem you have, is they're going to request me, jack up your prices. Give them an FU number.
I did. We talked about it.
And they did it. So you didn't FU the number big enough.
All right. So to answer Trevor's question, who was this video for? This video is for, it was made for potential future clients, patients. That was my intention. Although the funny thing is, guys, I got a DM 2 days ago from another physical therapist in the area in Manhattan, and they were asking if we are hiring for any PRN therapists. And it was literally after that video came out. It was like that same day or the next day, whenever that video was posted. So these videos, and this is the thing with Tony, like you just have to do a ton. You have to post a ton and publish a ton, and then you kind of see what's what and you kind of navigate from there. My intention right now is to work more on the marketing and the new patients. Although when I put stories up on Instagram, I'll have, I don't know, 10, 15% of the people that view the stories on at Concierge Pain Relief, 10 or 15% of them are physicians. Also physicians that I've never even spoken with, never even met in person, but we're on Instagram together and, you know, following each other, whatever. And they're looking at my stories. So I am putting out more videos like this. Right now, I have a bench of resumes and therapists. So I'm not, like, some of these videos might attract therapists, just like Jimmy said before, like the Rehab to Perform Josh Funk's videos, they attract therapists. And like, it makes sense. My question to you guys would be, what type of, so you said show the therapist if you're trying to attract therapists, you're showing the client in the videos, which I've put out some and I have more coming out. That'll attract other patients and clients. I want to attract more patients and clients as well as referral sources. So I'm good with the therapists, although we'll still show my therapist in the videos. I don't necessarily need more therapists right now. I want more patients and clients, and I want more referral sources for, you know, physicians that are out of network or self-pay or whatever. What do you got for me?
I think that one, my first impression was he's using this to attract therapists. So pivoting a little bit, okay, we're going to use this to attract clients. You know, then that I agree with Jimmy in the sense that we want to see clients, but I also like not seeing the clients, but rather just seeing the life the client would live, you know? And so I do like not seeing you or the client in that video, but maybe just the narrative, what you're saying in the background of, you know, this is the life of one of my clients living in Manhattan, and this is the view, and this is what my client does, and we're going to go for this, and we're going to do that. I would go back out. Like, I bookmark a ton of videos when I'm working on a new idea or a new project just to give me the inspiration. So I would find other videos that you see from other professions. There's a personal chef. Like, one of the ones that I love is personal chef who talks about what he's doing for his clients. This client is organizing a party for 12, and I'm going to do this and I'm going to do that. And he shows some of the food and he shows some of the plating and stuff. Those videos, me as a consumer, I'm like, I would hire that guy as my chef, you know? And so I can't remember. We shared it one time, I think a long time ago, a couple months ago. I'll see if I can find it again. I would look for inspiration in what those guys are doing, because I think it's really powerful and it'll resonate with the ideal audience.
Why don't you just show a bunch of people exercise, or just exercise videos then? I mean, because that was the easy thing to do, right? 3 years ago, it was like, here's the workout, and that's become so saturated and it doesn't do anything for you, right? So, I mean, I was taught early in radio. I remember I was doing an interview with somebody. It was like my first big interview, and I was talking about how cool it was and how excited I was. My boss was like, what do you think that makes the people listening feel like? Like, they're not on the inside with you. Your goal is to bring them along with you. So how can you tell that story differently, right? Like, is this how cool your day is, or is this how cool our day could feel, right? There was a famous story of my former boss who was interviewing a band, a 90s band that will remain nameless. And they came in the interview and they were like, we're in Poughkeepsie, New York. Why do we have to? They were just jackasses in the interview, right? It was a completely awkward morning show interview. A year later, there they are back again in Poughkeepsie, still slumming it in Poughkeepsie, New York, and upstate. And my boss had the ultimate Uno reversal card. He held a contest for 2 weeks before Third Eye Blind came into the studio for their ultimate fan. Third Eye Blind can be a jackass to a morning radio DJ in Poughkeepsie, New York. They can't be a jackass to their biggest fan in upstate New York. So he put the fan right there and was like, there you go. I'm just going to stand here. So he played the ultimate Uno reversal. But the point was, who's it for? Who is it actually for? And then ultimately decide how you want to tell that story together to make me feel like I'm a part of it. Because if I don't, it's cool. Like, Robin Leach in Lifestyles of Rich and Famous showed how they lived. Cribs was a modern version of Lifestyles of Rich and Famous. They took you along for the ride. Look how cool this is. Man, it gave you something to aspire for. And we do that. That's what I think this is doing.
I was going to say, you're overall taking a step back and getting this mini digital video therapy session with you guys, is that the day in the life of a therapist, you're right, that context is therapist facing. I did it because of the walkthrough and all that.
Yeah.
I was like, that was just one thing that popped into my head. So anytime, if it's a day in the life of a therapist, that video, whatever follows, absolutely should be for therapists. So that was where I had a little bit of a mix up in terms of like, I pulled the day in the life because I'd never done that. And I was like, I know that would resonate and I'm walking around or whatever. So that's one thing where the hook or the title or the premise of the whole video, that's where it needs to.
No, I think I think you're in the right path. I think we're talking about like a 2% change. Like how would, if you replicated this 100 times before you did that, what could you change just a little bit to make sure it landed? First of all, what is it trying to land is question number one. The second is, how can you change it so if you replicated it 100 times? Because again, you shouldn't be shooting 98 of these. You should shoot 10, figure out what you got, then hand it off, and then move on to the next thing. In my opinion.
Yeah, something I would love to see along these lines would be like, you have the clinical knowledge and the mindset so that when you are walking around the city, or going from a client that you do still see. I did this in Hilton Head. Was I looked at like coming out of the Hilton Head house, or if I was somebody sitting at home thinking about planning a vacation and I want to bring mom or dad along, I wish I would know, is this handicap accessible? Do we have stairs? Do we have a ramp? Like how is mom or dad going to negotiate these things? And so putting your clinical brain to use in terms of when you are going into some of these buildings or some of these apartments or houses, and just how you would imagine somebody else negotiating this stuff, recording point of view clips on that, sharing that out there, with obviously the potential to lead into your therapists who work for you. These are the kinds of things that they help, mom or dad overcome. I think these are the things that nobody's talking about.
I have a pricing question. When both of you go to your prospective, when your patients who are prospectively going to be in a video, do you just say, hey, we're doing this, I need you to sign it? You don't have to be like, well, how do you approach them when you're like, I'm going to feature you?
So what I do is I've got everybody who comes in the door sign a media release. I explain to them right off the bat. I'm like, hey, we do a ton of education. We do a ton of video content. It's likely that you're going to be in a video either as the main person or in the background. If you absolutely do not want any part of that, let me know. I will do my best to accommodate. Other than that, this is part of the media release. That's what we've got. Everybody signs it day one before you do anything.
I need to have them sign it up front, but I haven't been historically. Now I'm starting to do more videos. So there's a ton of folks that are like existing clients that like started well before I was doing this video stuff. So now it's like, I got to go back, and now it's like I'm in their home, so I got to respect it. And I think it is different in the home versus in an office. In an office, it's kind of like with Tony, it's like fair game. Like he just like, this is it. It is the way it is. And that's it. For us, it's like, we're going in their home. So they might not want us to, sure. They don't want their art to be shown, sure. Whatever. Like there's a ton of different reasons, or just privacy. So it's a little more challenging. Now I'm kind of retroactively saying, hey, would this be okay? And can you sign this? So it depends.
I got a weird twist of an idea. I was driving around the other day and I saw those like election signs, the temporary signs that people like put in their yards. You always see it for like a roofing company or like a lawn care company, right? Like this house, cared for. It's smart. I'm always curious because I do my own yard. It looks like crap, but I do it myself. I don't put signs in my yard.
It's a big yard.
It's a big yard. My question is, do they, how does that work? Like, hey, I just paid you $40,000 to do a roof, and now you're going to put advertising in my yard. Like, are you giving me a couple bucks off? So my question is,
so I grew up, my father with a tree service in New Jersey, and he would stick the same type of sign in everyone's yard, and he would leave it there. He would say, like, I'll pick it up in a week. So he would get free exposure for a week in sort of all the neighbors, assuming people would see it because they're kind of low and they can be blocked by cars. So it's kind of like,
so here's
like exposure.
Here's my twist. Crazy idea. I don't know if it will work. I've never done it. But what if you said, hey, listen, my price is $300 a visit. By the way, if you let me be if you let you be featured in my media content, it's $275 per visit. Do you know what I mean? Like, I understand what you're bringing to the table. Me putting the sign in the yard might get another one client, and that one client is worth all the signs I'm going to buy for 10 years. it's a way to raise your prices.
Or a way to provide a downsell to someone if they agree to have a video recorded at every single visit. But then I gotta trust my therapist.
And this is the reason
and all that if I don't do it. So
this is the reason I was asking, Dave. I was looking through your Instagram, and you had this video here. Which tell me the story behind this one. Whoop, there we go.
That's an oldie. I don't know. Is that from like a couple years ago?
I think it's your first reel. But to me, I don't understand the context, but I want to. What I'm getting at is the only way this...
Jimmy, you got to click... Jimmy, Mr. Music, you got to click on the music, man. You got to hear the song. That's just the context.
People watch Instagram videos with the sound off. That's the statistic I read. But anyway,
no.
The point I'm getting at is the only way to get the three parts of a story that matter, the beginning, the middle, and the end. The only way to get all of them is to do what you just said, which is record all their sessions. The only way to do that is to get permission. The only way to get more permission is to incentivize. I'm saying a move could be raise your prices to, let's say it's $100 a visit. It's now $150 unless you sign off on being a part of the media content. Then it's only $125. Now incentivizing them to be a part of that because it's going to help you and them because they're getting a price break for every visit so that you can tell beginning, middle, and ends.
All right, real quick context with that video. It was Foo Fighters' "Hero." There goes my hero in that song. That was
what's the reason? She has MS.
Yeah, so she was in a power chair, but she's doing a sit to stand.
Would you like to treat more people with MS? Would Concierge Pain Relief like to treat more people with MS?
Sure.
Then you need to turn, in my opinion, her into this girl, the girl that you're. That girl.
Yes. No, I know. Well, look at the difference. This video here, I recorded this year. That other one with MS, that was, I don't know, how long ago was it? 2 years ago?
Yeah.
A year ago? At least it was a while ago. So, I'm learning as we go. Yeah. I got the master Tony Maritato to look at the way he does. And then long term with some feedback.
Long term though, how I might structure this is just like you're doing. What's your therapist name again?
Well, I have several, but Porus is one of our.
Porus is the one you're shooting videos with.
Yeah,
you train him how like the five every shots he needs, right? I mean, shooting a reality show isn't rocket science. It's a bunch of B-roll with some interviews, right? It's these 3 questions every single time. You house that in a Google Drive, then you hire someone who only knows how to do this, and you give them a formula, and you go put this together in a great way, so when I share it, it tells the beginning, the middle, and end. Because Dave shouldn't be shooting these videos again, eventually. In my opinion.
All right. Definitely.
All right. What are we going to next?
Let's go to the video clip that either one, Sword or the video that Jared.
I want to understand Sword. What are we looking at here?
Okay. So
I didn't know either. So I'm in the same boat.
Just this morning, and I didn't have enough time to really get into the detail, but just this morning, Jerry Durham sent me this. I hope he doesn't mind me sharing it. It was a post that somebody else had generated on LinkedIn. The part that I thought was so interesting was talking about Sword going into kind of the logistics and the back office and, insurance verification and all the stuff that happens behind the scenes. Now, I can't see it on my phone, but Jimmy, if you look at the bullet points down at the bottom,
yep.
The first one I know is the immediate red flag for every therapist that's going to see it. Can you read what it says, that first bullet?
14x, not 14%, 14x increase in clinician capacity.
Okay, so every therapist is going to freak out.
I knew we're all the same. We all agree. Yes.
But this has been something that in my mind, like you see it in politics, you see it everywhere. It's what does that really mean? My hunch is they're saying, look, we can make you accomplish 14 times more, but you're not going to work 14 times harder. That's the reality. So every business owner is going to be like, yes, freaking squeeze those therapists, but every therapist is going to freak out. I don't think it means you work 14 times harder. I think it means you can do and achieve 14 times more. And then there's a couple other stats, and this is the thing. This is every effort in my physical therapy clinic has been focused over the last couple weeks, couple months on this, on optimizing, on redesigning our systems, on moving to a more effective and efficient system for insurance verification, for scheduling, for documentation, for everything. You know what we're not working on? We're not working on improving patient care, but that's okay because patient care is pretty darn good. It'll get better if we're more efficient. It'll get better if we can improve the back end. And so if Sword is going to leverage their technology to do it, I go back to one more time, like how is every EMR on the market in physical therapy? How are they not already doing this? Why are they not already doing this? Why can't I have a picture of an insurance card auto-populate into my EMR? Why do I still have to type in the insurance information? Now, Jimmy's kind of involved with a company that does a lot more of this, but I think this is really where we can have some huge impact.
Yeah. If it's not doing this, you should be asking yourself why. Once a year, you should be, in my opinion, you should be reviewing all of your systems to see, to see if it still wins your business. What else is out there? Because the changes are not small, right? One little change is not small.
But the switching cost is the challenge for the practice
that
owners.
Needs, that needs to be incurred. I mean, I was working when I get on a call with a business, I'm now, been doing this for a little while. I know which questions to ask. I know when to be quiet. I know that shocks you, and let someone talk. But I started playing with ChatGPT and I said, pretend the next client I talk to is talking to 6 other companies doing the same thing. What are the questions all 6 of us are asking? What are the questions they should be? One question I thought was very unique. I actually picked this up in a technical meeting. Most of the stuff in the meeting was over my head. The question the statistic was how many engineers we have, the engineer ratio. Some of them are like, we're cheaper. It's like, that's great. But when it goes down, when the technology goes down, when we're so perfect, it never goes down. Don't tell me that. I understand how it works. When it goes down, how fast do you get back up? We've got 52 engineers to this company's 1. We put all of our engineers in getting this thing back up. That's important. That's the AAA guarantee. When you're at 3 a.m. with a flat tire, when this goes down, how many firemen do you have? Well, we have 3. That's why we're cheaper. We have 56. That's why we're worth the extra money. That is hard to communicate in a graphic like this, right? Doesn't really make any sense unless you put some context to it. I like putting context in a question that makes them say, how would that make me feel when on that random Tuesday in November when the system goes down and we go, what do I do now? I'm like, you have a phone number of a guy in San Francisco whose only job is to make sure that you're back up and running. That's it. That's why it's more. It's more because overall in 10 years, it will 10x.
Well, that's really challenging when everyone's out there price shopping and putting in these Facebook groups like, what's the cheapest EMR? Or I have this EMR and what's cheaper or better or whatever.
Yep.
And that's when people are shopping with the wrong features and benefits.
It's hard to jump in that Facebook group and say you're asking the wrong questions because Facebook groups are one-dimensional. They're very flat. You're never going to win that audience. So I, in the beginning, started trying. And then I realized I wasn't going to. So I stopped. I just figured my math was get more phone calls and one-on-one time, get to the people further down the funnel and just ask those questions and be like, can you show me where your money is from a claim you processed yesterday? You can't? Domino's can show me where the pizza is that I ordered 23 minutes ago. Feels like your money and your claim is more important than where my pepperoni is.
The Domino's ordering online and tracking the pizza from the order to the oven to ready to pick up is amazing. I've never seen that in healthcare. I've never seen that in physical therapy.
Should I ruin it for you, though?
Please.
It's a video. There's nothing tracking. When you order a pizza on Domino's, it doesn't actually track it. It doesn't. But it's
the video. Are you watching it then come on like an Uber car that's coming to your residence?
So it wants to be the Uber car where it's tracking the car. It's not. It's just a program that runs and it knows 12 minutes later, say it's in the box, and 24 minutes later, say it's out the door, because they wanted people to stop calling. Okay. Because waiting on a subway platform for a train that's gonna eventually come is mind-blowing. But when you can see a
Okay.
timer on it, it's palatable. That's Rory Sutherland. Once he put it in context, I was like, oh, he's right. Even just giving me your best guess is better. But the Domino's thing, like, what do you think they have sensors in every? No, there's no way. So someone pointed out, it's just a program that runs that says if he ordered it at 9:21,
Because
in minutes, move it to the next stage.
because their operational excellence of the whole system of everything of getting from order to getting a pizza out the door is so tight and so refined, they can do that.
So why after every clinical interaction can't you email someone based on the clinical practice guideline and based on the information from that last 3 interactions I just had in this giant, massive repository of clinical information that I have to spend so much time typing into? Can't you give me a 0 to 100 estimation of where I am to your goal? Do any EMRs do that currently? Because you can automate that email to go out, and read that, do that, send that.
Does Apellis do that?
With the scribe, it does. I programmed mine to do that, but nothing says you can't incorporate it.
Dope. It's cool.
So you get two automated emails. One goes to the patient that you just say, generate email based on this template. I put in mine, never use cliches like, I hope this email finds you well. Don't do that. Don't do that. Say, hey, first name, hey, preferred name, right? And then based on the CPGs, because now we have a thing called Copilot, where we're able to actually ask it clinical questions. Based on today's session and then your goal, it looks like you're about 73% of the way back, because most people bail out of PT because they're like, do I just do this forever? Like, what am I trying to get to? When you're 73% to a degree in economics, you're going to finish the degree. And I'm 73, sunk cost fallacy, guys. I'm 73% of the way there. Why wouldn't I finish? I knew 2 years into a DPT degree, I didn't want to work in a clinic. My professor was like, you're still going to owe the money. You might as well get the degree. I finished. Now, she wasn't getting a bonus because I finished. She was smart enough to go, you should finish. So you have something to show for the last 2 years and 100 grand. So my question is, are we pulling on the wrong levers? Because saying how great, like Tony was saying, saying how great clinically you are, it's table stakes. I see people's LinkedIn bios. I'm an outcomes-based physical therapist. I hope you are. I'm an outcomes-based physical therapist. What does that mean? I'm an input-based physical therapist. What is that? What does the opposite mean? I'm an input-based physical therapist. I'm an outcomes-based physical therapist. Walk me through that.
We're just sitting back. We're just letting you rip, man.
So I don't know if you can share sound. If you can, turn on the sound and see if you can share that last Instagram video of the recruitment.
Yeah, let me
get that.
Hang on. I'll get that in a second.
Okay, while he's doing that, shoot, I had an idea that we were just talking.
What's the recruitment video that he's pulling up? What is it?
So Jeremy Sutton sent me this video of, it looks like a physical therapy clinic, maybe in England or somewhere in Europe.
Germany. Yeah, it was
Germany. Okay. And I remember going back, the thing that I liked was going back 20 years. There was already technology that you would swipe a card.
Patients relax and recover with zero effort. And check this out. Every patient gets a digital key. With just a tap, their progress is tracked directly on the training machines. Smart, simple, and super effective. This is the kind of environment you could be working in, where innovation meets care and where your work really matters. Want to know how much you could earn here? Comment salary and we'll send you the details. This is how physiotherapy in Germany looks like.
So, it's a recruitment video. They're trying to hire therapists. They said, imagine how much you could earn here, come and work here, highlighting it was a beautiful aesthetic. It was great equipment. Like I said, the thing that stood out to me was, I remember you swipe the card and it counts reps and sets and resistance, and it made it easy for clients to come back. There were little franchises that were doing this model. And I'm like, again, why the heck am I out there like a sucker counting reps and sets again? Why am I out there? Like, this makes no sense in my brain. But I know a lot of therapists are going to be like, oh, that doesn't require skill. That's not skill. That's not billable. Who cares? Like, I'll pay for it. It doesn't matter. It's technology worth having. And if it gets me out from under the thumb of controlled pricing and gets me out of declining reimbursement, and patients love it, why would I not do that? So 2 factors here. One, they're showing the clinic, they're showing the space, they're showing what they're doing to attract therapists who want to work in that. And then 2, everything is moving toward increasing capacity, increasing automation, whether it's Sword, improving the back end operations. It's a company like this, improving the front end operations. Like, yes, if you want to be Dave Kittle, and I would love to be Dave Kittle, charge $950 for one-on-one therapy for a high urgency case, go out there and do it. But you're not going to see 50, 60, 70 people a week. We're not going to handle the people who need therapy at the volume needed doing that kind of thing. So who's working on the other end? Where are the solutions at the bottom of the bottom of the market, where people aren't going to pay a copay? They're going to get what they get for free, paid for by the government, paid for by our tax dollars. But who's working on innovating and improving that end of the market?
There's nothing to squeeze out of that end of the market, but
all right.
Sword and Hinge are there doing it. Really quick, parting shot is just for me and all of us, more video. That example of the video from Germany, I started watching it that you guys shared in the DMs. I started watching it. I thought it was like a walkthrough for a potential patient. And then they said, come, join and see how much you can make with salary. And I was like, oh, I thought I was being walked through as a potential patient. Now it's actually for a potential physical therapist or physiotherapist over there to go work there. So that's the thing, is even though that video is so excellent and crisp and professional and looks like it was edited well and it was very impressive, even that, like, I'm like, oh, well, I thought it was for a patient. Now it's for a physiotherapist. So that's the thing, is like, these videos don't have to be perfect. You figure it out later. Tony is still innovating, and he's done, I don't know, however many thousands of videos and posts and publications. So for me and everyone else out there, you have to just put stuff out there, and then maybe some of us will comment and, you can, help refine it later, but you don't know until you put it out there.
Jimmy, parting shot.
I would say if you're stealing ideas from inside your profession and copying them, you're 3 years too late and you're not good at it, right? So you're copying. It's as simple as me copying Bryce Harper's workout, thinking I'm going to be a professional baseball player. It's like, nope, you're missing the thing, and you're trying something too high level, and you're looking in the wrong spot. I think looking at a plumbing video or looking at a video for Botox or analyzing those, that's why I like doing, and I should bring it back, steal this strategy. It's like those things aren't being competed with. Those ideas, like, steal those, twist them. That's all I was taught to do in radio. I had a budget of 0 and all I did was play music, right? We had to steal ideas and twist them. So if you're only looking at your competition and photocopying in their ideas, you're going to stay a day late and a dollar short.
All right, guys, Get Plump is about talking to your community. Get swole. What are you going to say? Can you define the culture of your community? If you can't, you need to refine that messaging.
Hey, it's Dave Kittle. Are you a healthcare business owner or physical therapy practice owner who is looking to figure out your succession plan or exit strategy? We might be able to help. And in fact, we may be interested in acquiring your practice. If you're interested, you can reach out to me. Shoot me an email at dave@conciergepainrelief.com. That's DAVE at CONCIERGE painrelief.com, or you can call me at any time, 646-781-8884.